you for that sweet, warm introduction. Just taking a moment to take your faces in. I actually encourage you to look around for a moment and just see who's in the community with you. Just take a look. And just see, this is a really big moment that you're all acknowledging together. And because I work in mindfulness, I'm going to invite us all to take a deep collective breath. Feeling your breath come in through the nose and out through the mouth, especially for our graduates. It's so beautiful to see you all in this room. It feels very tender to be standing here in front of all of you and some of your family members. I actually have two nephews who are also graduating college this month from UC Riverside, Pittsburgh College. I'll bring their names into the room. Delai Ba and Gavin Yoon, very proud of them. So I feel like I'm speaking to a room filled with my nibblers right now. So the wonderful planning committee asked me to share about the challenges I faced as a Southeast Asian student sitting in your seats 18 years ago. And as students, we did have our fair share of challenges, many of the ones that April had mentioned. As first and second generation Southeast Asians, historically underserved and underrepresented, many of us actual refugees or children of refugees, navigating a world our parents didn't fully know, serving as cultural and language brokers for our families. It was not a walk in the park. Many of us also worked while studying. Many of us organized while carrying the weight of our families and communities on our shoulders. With all of that said, though, I want to be really transparent with you. The conditions that you have grown up in, and I've seen my nephews and nieces grow up in them, as digital natives, as survivors of the global pandemic, as young people navigating continued economic and political instability, and these conditions that you're graduating into are different from the generations that I was part of. And in many ways, significantly more challenging. And I say that as someone who graduated from Cal during the last Great Recession, so that is saying something. So I want to start here, naming these honest realities, because from what I know about your generation, you are the generation that respects truth and authenticity. You have come of age in a world that is in the midst of a profound and painful reckoning with itself. Your generation is meeting a threshold, a moment where the old world is rapidly declining and where the new one is still finding its way. As a result, I don't have to tell you, you know, the ground beneath us is shifting in ways that are difficult to fully name. Governments and institutions are fracturing. Safety nets are unraveling. Cultures are being disrupted and erased. And still, war and genocide continue to devastate entire peoples. And the earth itself, and this is something that I deeply admire about your generation, the earth, our fundamental home, is calling for our attention and care in ways we can no longer ignore. You all know that this climate crisis and anxiety are very real. Because of these conditions, there's so much more pressure to not only survive it, but to also succeed and become the next change maker or influencer. To be someone, to keep pace with what you're seeing on social media. I didn't have social media when I was in college. No phones. The forces of these conditions create this relentless pressure to perform I'm seeing some nods in the room. And to prove your worth through achievement and consumption. And so right on cue, as you all begin crossing this threshold, I'm sure this old world is leaning in and asking what it always asks. Questions that I am also very familiar with. What will you produce? What are you worth? How will you compete? And what have you accomplished? And these questions, they carry an enormous weight as they are questions that make up the DNA of the old world. The one that is breaking down right now, right in front of our eyes. And, don't worry, there's a hopeful part of this. And as it breaks down, it creates an exciting new opening for this question. What new DNA will be generated instead? This is the heart of my offering for you today. A different DNA, a different set of questions for you to contemplate and sit with. A set of questions that can help all of us, including your parents and your families, imagine the beautiful new world that you, this vibrant and bold generation, will be helping to shape moving forward. So, you want to hear the questions? Yeah? So the first question I have for you is this. What are the gifts you were born with? What are the gifts you were born with? I want to introduce the wisdom of a beloved teacher and ancestor, Dr. Angeles Arian. Dr. Arian was a Basque American cultural anthropologist, educator, author, and healer who received her advanced degree right here at Cal and taught across the UC system and other universities. She spent her entire life studying cross-cultural and indigenous traditions dedicated to finding the common ground between people and communities and revealing what she called the universal wisdoms that transcend culture, history, and family conditioning. Dr. Arian taught something that has stayed with me ever since my own teacher, Carol Cano, first shared it. She said that no two fingerprints, no two footprints, no two strands of DNA, and no two irises of the eyes are exactly the same. Just think about that for a moment. That's pretty incredible. Not even between identical twins. Which means that every single human being in this room arrives on this earth with a completely unique and unrepeatable blueprint. That's pretty incredible. So I want to ask you, what is your blueprint? What gifts did you arrive to this beautiful earth with? Maybe it's the gift of bringing people together, just like this. Maybe it's the gift of making people laugh, or the gift of visioning an idea that doesn't yet exist, of solving complex problems, of using your hands to make something beautiful, of being able to see the hearts of others. Maybe it's the gift of deep listening, or building new code or new inventions, or playing music, or telling stories that move people to action. And if you don't know what your gifts are yet, that's okay. These are simply contemplative questions to live into. And sometimes it's actually about just remembering. What did you love as a child before anyone told you it was practical or not? How did you most naturally want to spend your time when nothing is required of you? What did you enjoy learning here at Cal? What class did you love the most? So Dr. Arian's work invites us to trust our own unique perspective, to show up with our specific gifts, rather than spending our energy comparing ourselves to others. Because the world doesn't need more people performing someone else's version of success. It needs you, the unrepeatable, original you, to discover what success means and looks like for yourself. That was the first question. Second question that I want to offer to you is, what breaks your heart open? What breaks your heart open? Let me tell you what breaks mine open. Being right here, standing right here with you and your families as you cross this momentous threshold. This really, truly breaks my heart wide open. 21 years ago, SAS, Southeast Asian Student Coalition, broke my heart open when I was trying to find healing without even knowing what that word meant. Sitting in Eshelman Hall till 2 a.m. Any folks doing that here? 2 a.m.? Is that late? Yeah, there we go. There's a hand. Sitting in Eshelman, planning the SAS Summer Institute, mentoring Southeast Asian youth in Richmond, organizing cross-culturally for a space where all students belong, taking Asian American Studies 125 and learning my family's history alongside a Cambodian GSI who looked like me. All of that broke my heart open. And today, as a healing justice practitioner, leader, and coach, I am blessed to do work that breaks my heart open every single day. I get to work with people I love in service of humanity and the earth, helping people come home to themselves. About 6 years ago, I made a major pivot in my own career, working with physicians in healthcare management. And a couple of years after moving on from that job into this work that I'm doing now, something dawned on me. I was like, this feels so familiar. Why do I wake up so happy and gratified? But when was the last time I felt this way? It was right here, organizing alongside my friends who I'm still friends with 21 years later, right here at SAS. So my heart always knew. It just took me a little bit of time to learn how to listen. So I asked you, what has broken your heart open so far on your journey? And this doesn't go just to the seniors graduating. This goes to everybody in the room. What makes you feel most alive? What brings you genuine joy and curiosity? In that contemplation, in that honest look inwards, you will find clues that will guide your path forward. It won't look perfect, and you will take turns you didn't expect. You may wander for a while, and as long as you learn the beautiful and honest language of your own heart, you will always be moving in the wisest direction. My third question to you is, there's only 4 questions, okay? My third question to you is, where and with whom do you feel most fully yourself? Where and with whom do you feel most fully yourself? I venture to guess that this community is one of those places for you. The journey of becoming our most authentic selves, of discovering what brings our heart to life, and sharing our unique gifts with the world. It is not an easy one. But what can make it a little easier is finding the people who can walk alongside us. The ones who see us, the ones who call us forward, the ones whose presence we don't have to perform for or shrink or explain ourselves. This matters now more than ever. We are living in a time when technology and AI are pulling us away from genuine connection. When rates of depression, loneliness, and isolation are climbing, gathering in person just like this, building relationships, cultivating caring community, this is the medicine for these times, you all. This right here is medicine. So think about who in your life truly supports you, who sees you, who holds you with care, who cheers you on, no matter the outcome. And so because I love basketball, I'm a Lakers fan, I'm sorry to admit that. I call this my starting five care team. A rotating group of people who help me take care of myself. I have a couple of them in the room with me today. One of my best friends is here. My beloved sister is here with my nephew and brother-in-law. It can include a trusted mentor. Find a good mentor. Don't be afraid to ask for someone to mentor you. It can include a skillful therapist or coach. Heck, sometimes my starting five includes my massage therapist and my acupuncturist, okay? So they can be rotating depending on the season of your life and what you need in the moment. And this isn't about performative self-care. This is about real, deep, meaningful, loving kindness to yourself. So these are the people I turn to when life gets hard, but also when life is really beautiful. So please find your team of loving, caring people who will spend time with you and take time to water those relationships and let them know regularly that they matter to you. So too many of us are moving through this life believing we are doing it alone. But look around you. The truth is, we're surrounded by more support than we realize or that we're told. The invitation is simply to turn towards the help, to ask for it, and to let yourself be supported. None of us were meant to do any of this alone. So my fourth and final question for you all: what gifts did you inherit from your family, your ancestors, and your culture? What gifts did you inherit from your family, your ancestors, and your culture? We arrive in this world with gifts that are uniquely ours. We also arrive carrying gifts that were passed down to us through our families, our cultures, and ancestors, often without ceremony, often without words, and sometimes we don't even know it until we realize it. For many of our communities, the wounds of war, genocide, and forced assimilation created painful ruptures from our original lands, languages, cultures, and spiritual roots. The grief from these losses run deep, and it has often been buried beneath the silence and daily hustle of survival. I'm sure you see your parents constantly hustling. As a result, we can sometimes lose sight of the extraordinary ancestral beauty and gifts that are just as real as the pain that was left behind from these tragedies. But these gifts, I promise you, they are there, and they are waiting to be remembered, and they are waiting to be claimed. There's a reason each of you has chosen to graduate with this beautiful Southeast Asian community. Something cultural binds us here, something ancestral connects us, something familiar brings us together in this room today. And just as each human being carries a unique blueprint, each culture carries its own distinct gifts, its own rituals, ceremonies, ways of knowing, and ways of loving. So what are these ancestral gifts you received? Maybe it's the resilience and quiet strength you see in your parents and your grandparents. The ones who survived the unimaginable so that you could be sitting in this seat today. Maybe it's the skill, again, of using your hands to create art, to create music. Maybe it's the recipes that you cook to bring people together around a table. Maybe it's the joy of storytelling, or maybe it's karaoke. We got some karaokeers in the house? Families who karaoke, yes, that's right. We know a lot of Southeast Asian families be karaokeing, right? By karaoke, I mean the way our communities know how to find joy and laughter, right? It can also be the quality of compassion, generosity, and fiercely loving care. So these gifts from our ancestors, our families, and cultures, they're boundless, as long as we know how to look for them. And if you don't know these gifts yet, again, this is simply an invitation. As you move forward from this day, I encourage you to seek out your elders before it's too late. Ask them questions, listen to their stories, document what they share. Look for the threads of your lineage that are still alive and waiting to be woven into who you are becoming. The poet and author Darius Simpson writes, "Perhaps we are our ancestors' wildest dreams." I believe that with my whole heart. Each of you sitting here today, with your sashes and your degrees, having survived everything your family triggers to get you here. We are our ancestors. What our ancestors dared to dream in their hardest moments. And we must remember this. We are their wildest dreams come true, truly. And so, in closing, with your unique gifts and your open hearts, your care team, your family, and your ancestors standing behind you, I want to remind you of the question that we began with. What kind of world are you here to help bring forward? What kind of world are you here to help bring forward? What new DNA do you want to generate for your generation as well as for those who come after you, your younger siblings? Dr. Angeles Arian taught that as human beings, we have two fundamental purposes. The first is to love, and the second is to create. And Bell Hooks, one of the greatest truth tellers of our times, wrote something that has never left me when I first heard it. The moment we choose to love, we begin to move against domination, against oppression. The moment we choose to love, we begin to move towards freedom, to act in ways that liberate ourselves and others. That action is the testimony of love as the practice of freedom. So this is your invitation. And it's not about being perfect. It's not about having it all figured out. It's not about performing. Simply, the invitation again is to love and to create and to show up exactly and fully as you are, as nobody else but you. So, with that said, I'd like to offer my deepest, deepest gratitude to all of the graduates today for giving yourselves to this world that so greatly needs you. Can I ask for all of our graduating seniors to stand? Stand.